Yo, what's going on YouTube, and welcome back to Goal Line Hockey. It's your boy Kevin Forte, and today we are continuing my predictions for who I think makes the playoffs in each division, and today we are heading into the Atlantic Division. Now, things could get a little bit interesting here in the Atlantic. They have a lot of teams that could potentially make the playoffs still. There are 6 teams in the running still, in my opinion, for the playoffs, and that number might even go down to 5 here over the next week or two. So looking at the standings in the Atlantic Division, it's pretty stacked up top. The Boston Bruins with 68 points right now. They currently lead the National Hockey League with 68 points, on pace for 139 points this season, which would be an NHL record in a 82-game schedule. The Leafs are there. They are in their own category. There are 9 points behind Boston for that second spot. And there's an 8-point gap between them and the third team in the Atlantic Division, which is the Tampa Bay Lightning. There's a lot of gaps here between these teams. And I think Tampa Bay, Toronto, and Boston, we all kind of knew those were going to be the top dogs, except one team has kind of slipped more than we thought. The Buffalo Sabres are playing quite well recently, and despite the fact they're on a 2-game losing streak, they've won 7 of their past 10. I think the Buffalo Sabres are a real dark horse. If I had to choose today who could make the playoffs as that 4th team in the Atlantic, if there's an open wild card spot, which is not guaranteed this year, especially with what we're going to talk about in our next video with the Metropolitan Division, Buffalo, I think, is the team to get in there. You know, they score a lot of goals. They play really well with that goat head jersey. I think they have to wear that more. There's the obvious growing pains with some blown leads and stuff like that, but that is part of the process. I think Buffalo and that fan base, this is more than they could have asked for already. But listen, I think the playoffs are in sight for them. The Florida Panthers have really struggled this year. They've only got 19 wins in 42 games. Definitely not where they wanted to be. And I think they're a team that is, definitely on the outside looking in. And, despite the fact they're a team that could still maybe make it and they're 5 or 6 points out of a playoff spot, this is a team that just, I don't think has it. I don't think Florida is there right now. And I think that, again, they've got some good things there. They have some good building blocks, but they just haven't played well. And I think that that's something that really since the beginning of the year, this is a Florida Panthers team that just has continued to kind of regress. So unless they go out and make a big move like trading a Reinhart or a Bennett, they'll still be in the running and they'll keep things close. And maybe they end up being between, 14 and 16 in the NHL's draft in the spring. But again, it might be best that they have a reset season here to kind of reevaluate where things are with this franchise. And then the Detroit Red Wings. Now, I think the Red Wings are pretty much ready to call it quits for this season, and pretty much becoming sellers. I think that Yzerman is taking the long game approach. He's definitely being patient. And the fact his team is 7 points out of a playoff spot today, I think he's just saying, listen, we know where we are. We're developing, we're growing. We are not the worst team in the National Hockey League. We built a lot of depth and, through drafting and through free agency last summer. There's a team that's gotten a lot better, but there's still a long way to go. And I think the Red Wings will end up becoming sellers, but that's where we're at. Now, if I had to guess the 4 teams that make the playoffs, I already kind of gave it away. I think it's the 4 top teams right now today. I think it's Boston, Toronto, Tampa Bay, and Buffalo. Florida has a lot of veteran leadership, which gives me some pause, but I really think Buffalo is the real deal this year. Tage Thompson has come out of the scene and been incredible. Kyle Poso's putting up some really good numbers for a guy that was, had cancer and couldn't even stay in the lineup. Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen has played quite well. This is a team that has potential and a lot of upside. And if there's a 4th spot where the Buffalo Sabres can maybe sneak into the playoffs as a wild card team, I have the Buffalo Sabres being the most likely in that Atlantic Division to make it. So let me know what you guys think down below. What do you guys think of my Atlantic Division picks? I think the first 3 are not really much controversy, but I think the 4th spot, if there is one, there is some debate there. Could Florida or Buffalo or even Detroit potentially sneak into that spot? Let me know. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again next time.